Don't let YouTube decide what information you get. That's your choice. YouTube is deleting our videos and cuts you off from a source of honest reporting. Make sure you don't lose access to NTD's news content, and take a quick moment to subscribe to our newsletter so no matter what happens here, you'll keep your access to a trustworthy news source.
Author and former Bill Clinton advisor Naomi Wolf is now permanently banned from Twitter. The tech giant says it's because Wolf posted misinformation about vaccines. Wolf is also known for her feminist writings, including her book, The Beauty Myth.
Naomi Wolf's Twitter account shows account suspended. Twitter suspends accounts which violate the Twitter rules. She had 140,000 followers. Wolf has been an outspoken critic of the pandemic lockdowns and COVID vaccines. Twitter says Wolf's account got suspended because she shared misinformation about vaccines. Some Twitter users applaud the move, saying Wolf allegedly published anti-vaccine claims. Others voiced concern over what they said was another attack on free speech by social media companies. In response to the ban, America's Frontline Doctors founder Dr. Simone Gold wrote on Twitter, "A countless string of doctors, scientists, and researchers have been suspended from Twitter." Conservative filmmaker Dinesh D'Souza wrote, "Anyone who loves freedom needs to realize the left is now the enemy of freedom." Wolf served as a political advisor for the campaigns of former President Bill Clinton and former Vice President Al Gore in the 1990s. Lin Lin, NTD News.
Florida is taking action against hostile regimes that want to infiltrate the state, especially Communist China. Governor Ron DeSantis signed 2 bills today targeting corporate espionage and foreign grants. NTD's Allison Lee has that story.
There is no single entity that exercises a more pervasive, nefarious influence across a wide range of American industries and institutions than the Communist Party of China.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis signed 2 bills into law on Monday that aim to protect his state from influence from the Chinese Communist Party, or CCP, and other hostile foreign regimes. The governor tells NTD something needs to be done because the situation has already got out of hand.
That there's a lot of people in the United States who benefit from the largesse that's provided by the Communist Party of China. I mean, there's a reason why these athletes and these movie studios and big tech will grovel in front of the CCP. They're very critical of things that happen in the U.S., yet they won't be critical when you have slave labor camps and all these other things there that government is overseeing in China. And I think the reason is the financial.
One of the new laws bans trade secret theft and trafficking and increases penalties for such crimes. Those that steal for foreign regimes will face even higher penalties.
And you can't just have a state-controlled company come in from China and think that that's going to happen without there being any accountability or any transparency. And if you look at how they're influencing, universities are one of the top ways they're doing it. Business community, obviously, very much. And then entertainment, media, and big tech.
The other law requires all state agencies and local governments to disclose any foreign gifts or grants of $50,000 or more. The same rule applies to all entities that take grants from or have contracts with Florida state agencies or local governments. And it does more than that.
We don't allow agreements directly from the CCP with some of our universities. So like these Confucius Institutes are gone in Florida. That's not going to happen. And so I think we have the most robust protections against CCP influence that any state's done so far.
The law singles out 7 regimes and will scrutinize them harder. Communist China, Russia, Iran, North Korea, Cuba, the Maduro regime of Venezuela, and Syria. The Act on Foreign Grants will take effect July 1st, and the Act on Corporate Espionage October 1st. Allison Lee, NTD News.
18 million virus tests in just 3 days. A new virus spike in South China's largest city is making Chinese officials nervous. NTD's Juliet Song has more on that.
The most populous city in South China is battling a surge in CCP virus cases. Official measures include 18 million virus tests over the past 3 days. And calls from authorities urging people not to go anywhere.
The virus pandemic is currently very serious. All residents, please stay at home.
Some districts are put under strict lockdown. A video circulating online shows people guarding in front of residential buildings. It appears that they are preventing residents from going out. All of this is happening in Guangzhou. The city is almost 10 times the size of New York City and is home to 18 million people. And Guangzhou is making headlines in China for its latest spike in virus cases. Of the over 100 cases in the province, over 70% were found in Guangzhou. But a local resident told NTD that he suspects authorities are underreporting the numbers. He heard from a doctor at a local hospital that there could be well over 300 cases, and some asymptomatic cases didn't make it into the official count. What makes the Guangzhou virus spike concerning is that it involves a new highly contagious variant first found in India. And local authorities are making it harder for people to leave the city. Aside from road barriers, public transportation in some areas has been put to a halt. Hundreds of flights have also been cancelled. And if people were to leave Guangzhou, they need to prove that they tested negative for the virus within the past 48 hours. The tightened regulation and strict lockdown appear to have triggered fear of potential food shortage. Videos circulating online show people fighting for food at a supermarket and empty shelves. Areas near Guangzhou are also on alert. Guangzhou sits close to Hong Kong and Macau, and authorities there are now requiring those who arrive from high-risk areas in Guangzhou to undergo a 14-day quarantine. Juliet Son, NTD News.
Microsoft's search engine appears to have blocked the iconic Tiananmen image from the Tiananmen Massacre. The block happened briefly in the U.S. and other Western countries. This is raising questions on the degree of influence Beijing has over the company. NTD's Don Ma has more.
Microsoft may have taken a page out of Beijing's censorship playbook on June 4th. The company's search engine Bing.com blocked all image search results of Tiananmen from showing up. The Tiananmen is the name for an iconic image associated with the Tiananmen Square massacre on June 4, 1989. The photo pictures a man trying to block military tanks from driving down the street. The event marked when the Chinese military violently cracked down on unarmed student protesters who gathered to ask for democracy. The British Broadcasting Corporation estimates the death toll at around 10,000. In China, discussions regarding the event are usually censored. This holds especially true on its anniversary. But in an unusual twist, Bing.com also blocked the June 4th searches in the US this year. It was also reported that the image was blocked in other countries as well, including the UK, Canada, Germany, and Singapore. Microsoft responded saying that the situation was due to an accidental human error, but didn't give further details. As of Monday, images of the Tiananmen are appearing again on Bing. Questions are being raised about whether this incident is related to Bing's Chinese market. Western companies that do business in China are often forced to cater to Chinese regulators in order to access the Chinese market. That includes censoring content that Beijing deems politically sensitive. As per Reuters, many Bing employees are based in China. Around June 4th every year, Chinese authorities intensify censorship on anything connected to the 1989 incident, including seemingly harmless emojis. On June 3rd, the candle emoji disappeared from popular Chinese social media platform Weibo. The reason? Candles are often used in vigils that commemorate the Tiananmen Square incident. Other than the candle, the birthday cake emoji was also removed. This is because the cake had 3 tiny candles placed on top of it. Other internet sites also appear to be targeted by the censorship. In one case, the Weibo account of a popular e-commerce website was blocked. The platform is backed by major Chinese companies like Alibaba and Tencent. The block came after the account made a post asking, "What's the date today?" on June 4th. Don Ma, NTD News.
A U.S. Congressman visited Southern California for an event to commemorate the anniversary of China's Tiananmen Square massacre. He's also proposing to help Chinese people sue the CCP. Here's NTD's Eileen Ang with more.
Congressman Chris Smith represents New Jersey's 4th congressional district, but over the weekend, he was far from home. Smith was in the middle of the Mojave Desert in California, attending a pro-democracy event to commemorate the Tiananmen Square massacre in China 32 years ago. He blames the Chinese Communist Party, or CCP, for its human rights abuses on the Chinese people.
He commits human rights abuse like few others, the genocide against the Uyghurs, Hong Kong, and the way they have gone after them, the continued persecution of the Falun Gong practitioners, including organ harvesting. These are outrageous, and it's all coming from the top leadership of the Chinese Communist Party, and that means Xi Jinping is directly responsible and ought to be held accountable for his crimes against humanity.
Smith points out that the CCP has grown in power over the years, doing business with and often stealing from the U.S. and other countries.
I believed, and I did it, right after Tiananmen Square, that the world needed to say no trade unless there's significant and substantial progress on human rights issues. Without that, the trading's gone. And unfortunately, the corporations, because they wanted to make a profit quickly and overnight, and had such a short-term view, turned around and traded and passed over these technologies that now will come back to haunt us.
Smith cited Chinese military tech that closely resembles U.S. versions. He always warned of China exporting censorship and propaganda. Smith emphasizes the importance of Chinese people clearly understanding the CCP's crimes.
People need to know that patriotism and respect for their country is not respect for the Chinese Communist Party. Its goals, its methods especially the use of pervasive torture, is antithetical to respect for human life and human rights.
Last April, he introduced legislation H.R. 6524, the Compensation for the Victims of State Misrepresentations to the World Health Organization Act of 2020. If enacted, it would waive the Foreign Immunities Act to allow U.S. citizens to sue the CCP in the U.S. courts for monetary damages. He believes that lawsuits against the CCP will help people understand the CCP's criminal nature and provide some relief for victims and families. Smith reintroduced the bill in March this year, but the House of Representatives has not shown any interest in it yet. Eileen Eng, NTD News, California.
And to many schools, dress codes are no joke. Take this recent example of a student wearing a Mexican flag to his graduation. He left without his diploma. NTD's Miguel Moreno has that story.
This is the moment 18-year-old Ever Lopez, wearing a Mexican flag, is apparently told that he can't wear it. Moments later, the North Carolina student is given his diploma holder, walks off, and raises his fist. Asheboro City Schools says they denied Lopez his diploma after the ceremony because he broke the dress code and detracted from the importance and solemnity of the ceremony, and that it's not about the Mexican flag. According to USA Today, Lopez is the first in his immediate family to graduate from high school. He told them, "I just gotta represent. I did it for my family. They came over here to give me a better future." His mother, Margarita Lopez, called what happened unfair and something for racists. On Monday, she also made a list of demands like,
También queremos una explicación sobre por qué nos tuvieron que escoltar los policías hacia afuera del edificio.
We want an explanation as to how things were handled and even why we were escorted out by police officers.
Changing the dress code was another demand. We don't know if they'll make the change, but Lopez got his diploma in the end. Miguel Moreno, NTD News.
Navigating a world of economic madness, you need to have the right guide. What did today's decisions mean for your tomorrow? We ask why. What's the alternative? Uncover the deeper reasons and the hidden influences, and highlight the real opportunities for profit. At NTD Business, we connect the dots for you. Good evening. Thanks for joining us.